Hey y'all, so in this video today I'm going to be answering the question. Like, a lot of you guys are asking me in my DMs, in my Facebook Messenger, everywhere. Like, I didn't know that you guys would have wanted this type of information, but in this video I'm going to be giving you guys the process step by step, what I did in order to be able to leave Trinidad. So if you like that type of information, keep on looking. So if you guys are new here, my name is Takida Joseph, and on this channel we're focused on growing and helping others grow in God, life, and makeup. I hope you guys enjoyed the last vlog. If you haven't seen the last vlog, stop this video now and go look at the last vlog, and then you'll be able to know what it is this whole video is about. Actually, I'm taping with just natural light, so if you guys think it's looking kind of weird, So basically the process was this. And I'll tell you guys why the process was this to me after I tell you guys what the process was. So what I did was I made the decision first that I wanted to travel. I've been contemplating it for a long while, and one day I was just talking to my friend and I just say, you know what, girl, I'm just gonna travel right now and I'm gonna see if I'll be able to come over there and just vacation and do whatever it is I want to do. So I made that decision. I spoke to a couple family members and they were like, okay, good, it's a good idea, go for it, do it. And that's exactly what I did. So after I made a decision, I went online and I looked at the information that Caribbean Airlines had out, right? And then they were saying that you need to have a negative COVID test. And this is the thing, you need to stop listening to people, because people in Trinidad, right, they're just listening to what like people saying, oh my gosh, okay, you won't be able to travel if you don't have the vaccine, da, 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 da. And you're not going and get the information for yourself. So I could have listened to people who were telling me that and not get the information, but I went online and that was a Friday, so Caribbean Airlines was closed until Monday. But I spent the weekend getting the information that was needed, and then I realized that all I needed was a negative COVID test. I did not have to have the vaccine to be able to travel. All I needed was a negative COVID test no later than 72 hours before your flight. So I said, okay, good, check, I can do that, right? And then I needed to get my exemption. So I got my exemption. I signed up to get my exemption. I got my exemption. For some people, the exemption processes be hard. For me, it was not hard. Maybe, guys, in Trinidad, sometimes it's better when you know people. When you know people, you get through faster. I'm not saying that that was to me, but you know how it works in Trinidad. Know somebody who knows somebody, yeah? And sometimes the only person you need to know is God, because once God is in control and he's driving you forward, trust me, your application could have been the last and he will bring it right up to the front. So, that is one. So I did the exemption and I got through the exemption, right? I did the exemption and then I called Caribbean Airlines the following Monday and I asked them about flights. And they were telling me they have a flight for the 12th of June, they had a flight for May 30 something, they had a flight for July, and I told them which one I preferred to take, which was the one for the 12th of June. I had 24 hours to pay that flight. But guys, the flighting, again, for me, I don't do anything without God in the mix. So again, I was praying through this entire process, of course, right? And they were kind of getting a problem for me to get a return flight, because you can't travel into the US unless you have a return flight. For some people, they chance it and they go in and they don't have a return flight, that and it works so for them. But I made sure that I had a return flight to come back to Trinidad, right? So that when I was coming into the US, I wouldn't have had any problems and I wouldn't have been asked too many questions. So I called back Caribbean Airlines and I was able to book the flight to go and the return flight for whenever they had a return flight, right? But you can book a return flight for whenever you get one, and then coming up leading up to your flight, you could just change the date of the return flight. That is super easy to do. You can do it like that also. But the thing is, I did all of this before the Prime Minister said that he was going to open the borders. So when I called, it had flights. But after he said that, everybody went booking flights. So I know that some people are not being able to get flights now. That is the issue. I did my entire process before the Prime Minister made his grand announcement that in 4 to 6 weeks he's going to open the borders. So people heard that and everybody went rushing to get flights, right? I think that's what happened. So after that, I paid my money for the 24 hours. The money that I had to pay was 700 US to go and 800 US to come back. I heard now that it's double times that. So I did my process like before this whole announcement thing came out and the prices went sky high, right? But you know what, I know a lot of you are probably thinking about traveling, but sometimes it's good to go and research information for yourself instead of listening he say, she say, da da da, etc etc. Because one of like somebody I know who I told that I was traveling, he came like 2 days before I was traveling. I was like, how you can get to go in the US and you don't have the vaccine, da 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 da. But he was going off of what he thought was the protocol and not the correct information that was there, to travel. And so Caribbean Airlines, when I booked the flight, they sent me the confirmation and then they sent me what I would need, which is the negative COVID test. And I had to fill out the New York State has a form that everybody has to fill out, which it is, I think when you fill out this form, they would tell you if you need to quarantine or not. So based on the information that you put in the form, because you cannot board without having that form and them having that information and a negative COVID test. So I filled out that form and then they told me that they said that you wouldn't have to quarantine, da, 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 da. Some people still quarantine when they come. It's totally up to you. I did that. I had my 3 things that they needed: the ticket, the negative COVID test, and that form that could only be filled out 24 hours before your flight. And then I packed up and I left. And when I got to immigration, it was smooth. The guy at immigration, he was like, okay, when are you leaving? I said the date. He said, bam, enjoy your trip. I stand in the line in immigration and I saw those people interrogating people that came off of the same flight with me. You understand? So everybody's experience is different. Now, going back to why my experience was like this and why I think my experience was like this. Guys, when I make a decision, I don't do anything without God. So before I made a decision, I prayed and I said, God, if this is you and if this is my time and if I'm supposed to be in the US at this time, right? And you all maybe think this is too deep, but I pray about everything. I don't leave God out of anything. I said, God, if this is you, make this process be easy. I don't want no stress. I don't want no fuss. I don't want no up and down. And guys, from the day I made the decision to do it, everything was easy. Things that would take weeks, take days, take hours. Everything was smooth. The payments, everything was smooth. Even immigration, people, like, when I was in the line to go into the plane, a lady was like, I have no idea what they will tell me. She was so afraid because she stayed out of the country for so long. People was afraid, guys. But when I went there, I was like, oh my gosh, what are they going to tell me? And I was like, God, I don't want to lie. So I was praying, like, I hope that they don't ask me anything that I have to lie, And when I went up in the line, the guy just asked me when I leave in. And I told him the date. And he just said, bam, have a good time. And that is how it was. So that was my process. But guys, I prayed and I said, God, if this is you, I pray that everything would be so smooth. I don't want any trouble. And everything was so smooth. I had no trouble. I would link all the information as to where I got the COVID test done, because everywhere else was like 1,500 and 1,300. And I was like, no, I'm trying to save money. So I found a place for 950. The only thing is you have to go line up because they don't take appointments, right? But guys, I put God in the center of all of my plans and all of my decisions, and I told them, if this is you, let it go good, let it go smooth. And it went smooth, and he just cleared the way for me to just go. The flight was good, everything was easy, everything was smooth, and I'm super grateful. So that was my process. I know a lot of you guys are wondering how, and yeah, I hope this video is helpful. Again, if you want to do this, you just, you pray, you put God's center, you ask him if this is something that he would want you to do at this time, because COVID is still in the United States, like plenty of people vaccinated, but it's still here and it's still in Trinidad. So you have to be careful no matter where you are. So yeah, so seek God and do you. So subscribe to this video if you find it was helpful. Subscribe, and really helps this channel. It really helps me. And make sure and like and share. I love you guys. Bye bye. Yeah, so I'm now looking at that video I taped yesterday, and I had some more questions that I wanted to add. So people were asking me about the coming back process and what's the process to come back. But I think this entire process will be easier depending on how you deal with it from first, meaning what it is you put on your exemption to go in the first place, maybe will determine how easy it is for you to actually come back into Trinidad. So you need to be careful as to how you deal with the process in the beginning from the first place. But hopefully now the borders are open in 4 to 6 weeks so that you wouldn't even need an exemption to go back home. But I'm not sure too much about the process to go back home. But the same thing applies. You need to have your exemption. I'm not too sure about the COVID testing to go back home, but I will probably be vaccinated by that time. And yeah, so I just wanted to add that information in for you guys. Any questions, leave it down in the question section, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope this video was helpful and I answered most of your questions. Yeah.